Get those horses out of here. Come on, Betty. Stack some of these kegs up here on the end.
About 8 gunfighters on each side, the best in the business. You're not going to try to break that up.
Well, Mr. Masterson, there's nothing else we can do.
Wyatt, we'll be running an Indian gauntlet. I mean, these boys have 45s instead of clubs.
Let's move.
Oh, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
The Life and Legend of Wyatt Earp, starring Hugh O'Brien.
Cattle wars and fights between railroad men and buffalo hunters were commonplace in the lusty and brawling 1870s. But the great stage line fight known as the Teague-Woodruff Battle presented Marshal Wyatt Earp with something new in organized violence. Mike Teague and Dan Woodruff were bitter rivals in the stage line and wagon freight business. It was still a lucrative enterprise for short-haul traffic which the railroads couldn't handle. The great network of short-line steel west of Kansas City would not be built until the 80s. Thus, Teague and Woodruff were rich men with a lot of money at stake and the ruthlessness of old-time bullwhackers.
Here comes one of Teague's stages. Now, don't shoot unless you have to.
What's the idea?
I'm Dan Woodruff, and this is my route. Teague can't horn in, so turn around.
Hold it!
Well, Mike Teague himself.
Trying to play rough, Dan?
Just as rough as you want it.
This is a public road. Climb down and shove that timber out of the way.
No! Unhitch those horses and then turn that stage over.
You better get out, folks. There's going to be trouble. You can't do this to me, Dan.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead. Driver, get down off of there. All right, men. Turn it over. There'll be a Woodruff stage along in about 5 minutes, so take it easy. Now, this is just a mild warning. Don't try to jump any more on my routes.
So you think you can stop me with guns? Well, I can hire guns, too. Plenty of them in Dodge City.
So can I, Mike, if that's how it's got to be.
Oh, that's how. Next time you try this, you'll see.
It's a long walk. You better wait for my stage.
I'll walk.
Mr. Mike Teague?
Yes?
I'm Bat Masterson.
Where's Wyatt Earp?
Well, he's busy right now. Do you want to talk to me?
Sure do. Take over. We'll do our talking in there.
All right.
And you get $100 a day and expenses. I guarantee you 15 days' work. Cal Pope, Dave Rudabaugh, Kingfisher, and Lee Hall have all signed up already.
Hey, that's $1,500. Well, count me in. If Wyatt will give me a leave of absence.
Oh, we can use Earp, too.
All right, I'll sound him out and let you know this afternoon.
Right. Bye, Mr. Masterson.
Bye. And that $1,500's clear money.
Well, Mr. Teague is hiring gunfighters.
Oh, there won't be any fight, Wyatt. Dan Woodruff's just bluffing.
Hmm.
Well, if you don't want to go yourself, how about a leave of absence for me? Between cattle drives and the town's pretty quiet.
Look, Mr. Masterson, I hate to ring the bell on another school session for you, but you're working for the town, remember?
Yes, sir.
I used to know Mike Teague in Wichita, and any deal of his is apt to be kind of shady. Dan Woodruff is an old-time bullwhacker. He isn't going to take this line down.
Well, what choice has he got?
Well, you know, there are a lot of other great gunmen in town, like Pat Garrett, Smoky Hill Thompson, the Catfish Kid. Has Mike Teague hired them?
You think Woodruff aims to get himself some boys, too, huh?
That's right.
I sure hate to back out on a gunfight. I'll go tell Mr. Teague.
No. You can have your leave of absence if you really want it.
Well, thanks. Thanks a lot.
Just one thing I want you to think about, though.
Yeah?
Charlie Bassett doesn't want to run for sheriff again. I can't say I blame him. I told the county commissioners I thought you could handle the job.
Sheriff? Me?
Well, you're a little young, but you're as much a man now as you're ever going to be.
I wouldn't vote for me. I'm too young. Still, I've been on a trail with Mike Teague. What if he got us into a gunfight or something? That wouldn't look good. Yeah, I better think about it.
Good. In the meantime, you run on over to the Dodge Hotel. There's a Miss Amelia Woodruff sent word she wanted to see me.
Woodruff?
Yeah, I think she's Dan Woodruff's daughter.
Well, why don't you go?
Well, you were supposed to be the woman expert.
Yeah? What does she look like?
Well, now, that's for you to find out.
Yes?
Miss Woodruff?
Yes. Oh, but you can't be Marshal Earp.
Well, I'm his chief deputy, Bat Masterson.
Why, you're second to Mr. Earp on Papa's list. Are you really a gunfighter?
Well, I'm not as fast as Mr. Earp.
Oh, well, I declare. Sit down, Mr. Masterson. Papa and I need help. I never heard of such skullduggery. Mr. Mike Teague coming here to hire a lot of gunfighters so they can pick on our stage line. What chance have we got, Mr. Masterson? Fighting to keep the route that Papa established years before Great Western was ever heard of.
Well, there's ways of handling a deal like this.
But how?
I better wait till your father gets here.
Well, is it something you shouldn't tell me? But I've been Papa's right-hand man ever since Mama died. Look, money. Papa trusts me with it.
That's what it's going to take.
What do you mean? Oh, now, look, I'm not a silly child, Mr. Masterson.
All right, Miss Amelia. Tell your father he can handle this in one of two ways. He can hire as many gunfighters as Mike Teague, or pay the men Teague has hired to come over to our side.
Our side? Oh, I love you like a big brother. Will you handle it? I'll give you the money right now, and by the time Papa gets in, we'll have all of Teague's men bought off.
Well, I can't do that yet.
Why?
Well, I'm a deputy marshal. I can't go around town making deals with some of these gunmen. They're hoodlums.
Well, can't you quit your job? Or ask Marshal Earp to give you a vacation?
Well, look, if there's any hitch to it, I'll send for you to talk to Wyatt.
Well, is he young enough to be my big brother?
Well, the old man sure thinks he is.
Let me see your shotgun, Frankie. Well, not a man here with less than 10 notches. Guess Mr. Teague figures nothing but the best for the Great Western.
Howdy, Marshal.
Well, howdy, Mr. Pickett.
Don't want you to get any wrong notions. I didn't sign up, and neither did Louis Bozeman or Johnny Culp.
Well, I understand Mr. Teague is paying mighty well.
You gave Bozeman and Culp and me a break in Wichita. We're paying it back. Dan Woodruff's in town.
Thanks.
He'll be up in Teague's ante. If I were you, I'd chase them both out of Dodge.
They're both fighting over a stage route that's miles from there.
30 top guns and 2 stupid money men bidding against each other for their help. The fight'll start right here. Me? I'm leaving. So long, Wyatt.
So long, Tom.
Wyatt! Teague lied to me.
How's that?
He's trying to horn in on Mr. Woodruff's route. He's really hiring those gunfighters to take over the Woodruff route by force.
Miss Amelia must be very young and very beautiful.
She's got nothing to do with it, Wyatt. It's the principle of the thing. Her dad pioneered that route. Harold Teague is nothing but a...
Hold it.
Back door. You gonna let him get away?
You know, I'll bet that's Amelia's father, the one that took the money.
Oh, you loco. Her father's the president of the Woodruff Transportation Company.
Remind me to tell you some stories about him. In the meantime, we'll arrest Mr. Teague.
Arrest him? What for?
Two of Woodruff's men. They got away with my money. Close to $5,000.
Mr. Woodruff doesn't need to rob anybody.
That daughter of his must have gone to your head.
Why, you...
Take it easy. You're under arrest, Mr. Teague.
I'm under arrest.
That's right, inciting to riot. If you come along with us, we're going to talk to Mr. Woodruff. Come on.
We hear you're offering more than Teague.
That's right.
He offers us $1,500 guarantee and all expenses.
I'll pay $2,000 in expenses.
Sounds fine with me, Mr. Woodruff. But let's see your money.
Very well.
Come on.
You robber, that's my money.
Your name Woodruff? Dan Woodruff?
It is.
Miss Amelia related to you?
My daughter, sir. What's this intrusion?
That's my money, and you know it.
You stay out of this. He's under arrest and you're next. Charlie, all deals are off. Go pass the word.
Well, I hope you know what you're doing, Wyatt.
You can't arrest me. Teague came here to hire a private army. I've committed no crime. Those men told me...
You're lying. We saw the holdup. We saw those men give you a flour sack full of this money. Here's the flour sack.
Are you crybabying to the law, Mike?
No, just give me back my money.
It isn't half of what you took from me in passenger fares, jumping my best route.
Who's crybabying now?
Never mind. We'll impound the money. You take charge of it. I'm not arresting you for robbery.
Nor for anything else.
Oh, yes, I am. For inciting to riot.
Relax, Dan. I've got friends here.
Come on, let's go to jail.
Papa, what's happening?
This Cowtown marshal's arresting us on a technical charge. I'll not be delayed long, my dear.
Marshal?
Mr. Masterson will explain it to you.
I thought you were on our side.
Now, when it comes to robbery,
Is Marshal Earp accusing my father of...
we saw his men take the stuff and hand it to Mr. Woodruff.
Oh, that's absurd. Why, Papa's worth $500,000. If he had the boys hold up Mike Teague, it's because the money was ours to begin with.
This is Dodge City, Miss Amelia. Holdups are against the law here.
Oh, the law. Really?
Yep, and it's moving west all the time. You better tell Papa the news.
Papa was running stage lines before we ever heard of sheriffs and town marshals. He had to fight Indians and robbers, and now he has to stop Mike Teague from jumping our best route. Oh, don't you preach to me about the law.
Oh, I'm not preaching, honey.
Oh, yes, you are. And that's ridiculous, because you'll soon be out of a job.
You know, I sure have a weakness for decent, bad little girls.
Pat Garrett says to stick around. Teague and Woodruff will be back in business real soon.
You know, Tig's got a lot of drag around here. He'll take care of everything. Sit down and pour yourself a drink.
And the case just won't stand up, Wyatt. They can say they came here to employ special police. That's not incitement to riot.
Well, Mr. Mayor, what about a robbery charge?
Teague and Woodruff have been fighting each other for years. But if it came to an issue, Teague wouldn't prosecute.
We saw the whole thing.
Sure, but what if Teague says it was all a practical joke? No, you'll have to turn him loose. And don't tell me you're trying to head off a gunfight in the streets. We can't hold men in jail just because we think there might be shooting.
I think there will be.
So do I. That's not a bunch of drunken cowhands Teague and Woodruff are hiring.
No, they're all top guns. If they cut loose, there are going to be people killed.
But you can anticipate that there's...
Yes, sir, I can. That's my job. Now, you can take the risk.
Now, Wyatt, don't force me to suspend you again.
Sir, I'm suspended.
Me too.
Yeah? Then I'll have to release Teague and Woodruff myself. Give them back the money.
No, sir, not the money. I'm still a United States Marshal. Until Judge Tobin gets back, I won't have a warrant to hold those men, but I can hold the robbery evidence on my own hook.
This time, Wyatt, the city council is going to fire you. I'm sorry.
Well, Deacon, we sure showed him.
Oh, yeah. Holding this stuff isn't going to slow Woodruff and Teague much. They can cash sight traps at the bank. How did you get along with Miss Amelia?
She started to slap me, then she didn't. Why?
Well, Judge Tobin's coming in on the 4 o'clock Santa Fe. I'm going to have to watch Teague and the boys he hired. That leaves Woodruff to you.
If he plans to start it, I don't think Miss Amelia would tell me.
Maybe not, but she's our only chance.
Yeah. But if those gunslingers go to shooting, you don't figure on trying to stop it, do you?
I'd have to try.
Well, swear me in.
What?
Well, you don't expect me to go against John Ringo with a catfish kid with this, do you? Bang, bang, Ringo, you're dead.
Say, you know, you're right. Nothing like getting killed legally.
And I'll let you fellas in on a little secret. Half of Teague's men have accepted more money from me. We've got Mike outnumbered 2-1.
There's quite a few packing guns north of the line since Earp got fired. What are we going to do about that?
You think they're Teague's men?
Mm-hmm.
Then put on your guns.
Fine, Mr. Woodruff. Let's go, man.
Papa,
Yes, my dear. A couple more good men I think I can hire. I'm going over to the Alhambra bar.
why did you tell those men to put on their guns?
I can't have our side bluffed out by Mike Teague.
What if they go to shooting?
Oh, they won't hurt anybody. Now stop worrying. I'll be back in 10 minutes.
Oh, it's you.
Look, I lost my job. You were right about the law. It's a swindle.
You're still wearing a gun? Or did you sign on with Mike Teague?
What makes you think so?
Well, I don't know what to think. Some of Teague's men are armed, and Papa had to... Excuse me, I'm going to my room.
You scared of a fight?
There isn't going to be one. Both sides are bluffing.
You know better than that.
Let go of me.
Look, quite a few were apt to get hurt. You like the idea?
I know I don't like you.
Woodruff's men, buckling on their guns. There's a couple behind the barrel over here. There's 2 down the street by the door. See him? Down there.
You want to fight? Get your guns.
Papa, wait. Bat thinks there's going to be a fight. You promised me.
Now, Amelia, we're going to talk about this at the hotel.
But you said it was just a bluff.
It's gone too far now.
Aren't you even going to stop our men
No.
from...
Teague asked for it, and he's going to get it.
Then I think there ought to be a law to stop you both. And if I were a man, I'd help the law.
Amelia.
They're getting ready out there. About 8 on each side, maybe more.
Now we're in luck.
Huh?
And they're professional gunfighters, not drunken cowhands. They won't draw against the drop. We'll use buckshot. Now, this is what we're going to do. Listen.
Get those horses out of here. Come on, Eddie. Get this horse out of here. Stack up these kegs right here, will you? Keep out of this, Masterson.
Oh, I ain't in it.
Real money, friends. Yes, sir. Real money. Courtesy of Mr. Woodruff and Mr. Teague.
We'll hold our fire, men, if you will.
We'll hold. We'll hold.
Let's go, men.
It's a trick, you fools!
All right, lift your hands and keep the money. That's it, Mr. Masterson. Keep him covered. First one of you goes for a gun's gonna get a leg full of buckshot. Anybody else?
You win, Earp. Kid was a fool to draw against a drop.
All right, let's walk to jail. Couple of you pick him up and take him to the docks. Mr. Masterson, you stay with him. The rest of you move. Come on. Come on. Come on. Hurry up.
Marshal Earp, you admit that 2 or 3 token shots had been fired, and when you rode in, all firing stopped. No one was hurt. And when you scattered the money, both factions joined hands, as it were.
Well, they picked up the money, sir.
And so the threatened riot or battle or whatever you call it ended happily.
Well, sir, I took them to jail, if that's what you call happiness.
Mr. Woodruff and Mr. Teague both deny that they instructed guards to start a gun battle. So I fail to see how a charge of incitement to riot has any validity.
Excuse me. Are you the judge?
Yes, I am, young lady.
Now, Amelia.
It's no use, Papa. My father and Mr. Teague both incited their men to a fight. I begged my father to stop it, but he didn't want it stopped.
Young lady, are you certain there would have been a fight?
I saw them, lined up on opposite sides of Front Street. My father was with his men, and Mr. Teague was on his side.
More crybaby and Dan? You even get your own daughter to... Silence! The law's indebted to you, Miss Woodruff. Wasn't easy to come here and tell the truth. Mr. Mayor, you'll reinstate Marshal Earp and Deputy Masterson at once. I'll pass sentence on the Messrs. Woodruff and Teague at a session of court tomorrow morning. Hearing's adjourned.
You sure got Mr. Masterson and me out of a tight corner.
I got my father out of a worse one, Mr. Earp. If he and Mike Teague can hire private armies, they'll go on until a lot of people are killed. I guess I want the law to move west of Dodge City.
Well, ma'am, your father's lived a long time in a rough part of the country. You be patient with him. And Judge Tobin will let him off with a fine.
Well, hi, honey. Oh, your father wants to forgive you, and I'd like to take you to dinner.
Mr. Masterson, why did you fib to me?
Fib me?
Mm-hmm. You told me that Marshal Earp was too old to be my big brother. Oh, not that I'd want you for a brother.
Why, thank you, ma'am. You've made an old man very happy.
What did you...
well. He cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail.
Oh, Wyatt Earp!